Jay is with us in Texas starting off this hour. Hi, Jay. How are you?
Hey, Dave. I've been listening to you since I was 15 and now in my late 20s, so huge fan and wanted to kind of seek your advice.
Well, I'm honored. How can I help?
Yeah. Everyone, including my family members, church friends, and financial advisors, are saying my wife and I should buy a house, but we just felt like it's best to continue renting at this point, and we just kind of wanted to kind of see your take on this.
Well, I mean, to start with, no one gets a vote except you and your wife, unless you give them a vote. But I wouldn't give people a vote if I don't agree with their vote. And so, if you have a financial advisor that's advising you to do something financially that you don't think is wise, then you have the wrong financial advisor. If your mom and dad have boundaries issues, then they have boundaries issues. If your friends can't keep their mouth shut, then, they're just going to have to learn which topics you allow people to talk about. But I don't let people tell me what I'm going to do with my money. And you're a grown man, you don't either. Now, let's look at the situation and I'll give you an opinion, but even I don't get a vote unless you give me one. You called and asked, that's kind of giving me a vote, but still, you and your wife have to talk about it and go, in light of this is what we would consider. I don't recommend, nor do I believe you should rent your whole life, right?
Right.
So why are you delaying buying? What's your wisdom on that?
So, I mean, our belief is that, like you said, cash is king, and I lived on the simple mentality of if I don't have the money for it, then I can't afford it. And, for me, I really wanted to put, 100% down.
Okay, so you're saving to buy a house for cash. And how long have you been doing that?
We've been doing it about for 2 years or so.
Okay, and how long is it going to take you?
Probably 3 years.
More?
Depending on 3 more years.
Okay, so you would be 31 and you would pay cash for a house. Is that what I understood?
Yes.
And how big a house is this?
700K, 600K.
Okay. How much have you got saved now?
Well, I currently have 100K saved for the house itself, but my annual income will change significantly in 2 years.
Okay. So you're going through a career shift or what?
I finished my training. I'm in the medical profession, and I'll have a real paying job in 2 years.
In 2 years. Okay, so you're like in residency or something like that then,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right. Well, so you have a very clear vision for your life, a $700,000 paid-for house at 31 years old after you get out of residency.
Yes.
And people's problem with that is what? They think you ought to buy something now while you're in residency?
Well, we technically have enough down payment money for a 20% down payment for a lesser house, and enough income right now for us, between us, for a 15-year mortgage.
Now, what's your household income?
It's currently $150K.
And what city do you live in?
We live in Houston, Texas.
Will you remain there after your residency?
That's the plan.
Okay. So you have 100 now. How quickly will you have 200?
200 will... So whenever I finish my residency, whenever I get my first paycheck, I should have another 100.
Okay. And when do you finish residency? 2 more years?
Yeah, 2 more years.
Okay, so you're going to make $500,000 in savings in 1 year?
That should, the annual income should be $500K, and my wife makes money too.
Okay. I don't dislike your plan. What I was fishing for, I was kind of thinking about buying a small something on the interim and paying cash for it still. Like if you could buy something, that's why I was asking about 200. If you could buy something for 200, it's probably tough to find something for 100 in Houston that's much of anything.
Right.
I mean, you probably find it, but it might not be what you want. I mean, you may rather rent than that. And so, do I think you are foolish for renting for 3 years while you finish residency and your income goes from $50,000 a year to $500,000 a year? No, I do not. And you're paying cash at 31. And if you have an investment advisor that thinks that you're foolish and is shaming you for that, I would fire them.
Gotcha.
I think you're brilliant. I think you're quite the opposite of most doctors. And there are more broke doctors than there are broke musicians, because they all think they have a plan and they're so deeply in debt they can't breathe in most cases. We work with them all the time. Broke doctors are a stereotype in our world. I'm a doctor. A translation, I have a lot of payments, is what it usually means. So you're quite the opposite. Not all doctors are, but I'm just saying there's a reason for the stereotype, and you're quite the opposite of this. I'm so proud of you. I support your plan. I don't think you're irrational. You might be over here on the edge with me in the land of extreme, but you're also going to make $500,000 a year living in a $700,000 paid-for house. Unless you're beating that plan, you probably don't have a right to say anything to Mr. J. You know? That's like people going, I don't think I agree with not borrowing money on real estate. Well, I own about $300 million worth that I paid cash for, so I don't really care whether you agree or not. You know, you don't really get a vote until you trump that card, right? And so beat that hand, and then we'll talk about your freaking opinion. So, you know, you can be nice to people, but you just smile and shake your head. I mean, we've all got friends and relatives that do crazy butt stuff. I got relatives that vote wrong, but I still love them. You know, and so you just have to kind of think that through. And in your case, I would just, as Dr. Deloney says, Dr. John says, don't give him a vote in this instance. And I know you don't understand, Dad, but this is my plan, and I'm going to stick to it. And I appreciate you. I know you love me, and thank you for your input. But this is our plan, and we're going to stick to it. And I'm really not going to talk to you about it 73 more times. You're not going to hound me about it. And I'd fire the financial advisor today and get another one if they're bugging you to go buy something, because they think they got a doctor on the hook who's going to make $500,000 a year, and they want him giving them a bunch of money to invest, and they make a commission on, instead of worrying about you having a paid-for house. So their goals don't match up with yours. Wow. Impressive young guy. Congratulations, Doc. You're not going to be a broke doc. That's very cool.